Hello, and welcome new Aspiders and families. I'm Nicole Morantonio, the Director of Academic Advising and the First Year Seminar Program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Vest, and I'm the Assistant Director in the AARC.
We're here to provide an overview of the registration process, some key dates and deadlines, as well as strategies as the title of this webinar suggests for tackling pre-registration. We encourage you to post your questions in the Q&A box. However, please know that we'll be answering questions at the very end of tonight's webinar. We will also, again, be recording the session for review later, so we want this to be a resource that you can refer back to. We will also be putting links that we reference throughout tonight's presentation in the chat at the very end. And finally, just to reiterate this throughout the presentation, if you have questions that aren't answered in this webinar or questions that surface after we sign off, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can email our general office email at advising@richmond.edu or reach out to either one of us or both of us directly at the emails on the screen. So to get us started, we'd like to recap the registration timeline for the summer. So now, throughout the month of June until June 30th, you should be preparing your pre-registration plans. And so for most students, this involves the creation of two plans, an FYS plan for first year seminars and Plan 2. The exceptions are if you are in the Endeavor program. And so if you look to the table at the bottom of the screen, you'll see we have some courses that are FYS Endeavor. Those students who are enrolled in the courses listed below make only Plan 2. And for students who are enrolled in non-FYS Endeavor, make only the FYS plan. However, regardless of which plan you need to make, you'll be hearing this week from your peer advisor or PA. PAs are your students who are trained to work with you throughout the plan making process, to introduce you to Bannerweb, and to answer any questions that you might have. So please be sure to check your UR email this week and look out for an email from your PA. So remember, plans are due at the end of this month on June 30th. So these next few weeks are important in terms of planning. But as a side note, there's no advantage to completing your pre-registration plans early, at least in terms of getting priority of your courses. So best to take your time and think about your selections. We will note that if you are out of town over the next few weeks and will be without internet access, please contact our office as soon as possible. So after your plans are in at the end of June, you have the next few weeks of downtime registration-wise. This is a great opportunity for you to check items off in your student portal. So keep that in mind. On July 24th, however, the registrar's office will notify you of the courses for which you've been pre-registered. And so for most students, by July 24th, you should have 2 courses in registration. If you are an NCAA athlete, a Richmond Scholar, Bonner Scholar, or Oliver Hill Scholar, you'll be pre-registered for 4 units plus Well 100, which is our non-credit bearing wellness requirement for first year students. Once you know which courses you have been pre-registered for, you'll connect with your summer advisor, a faculty or staff member, and map out a plan for those remaining units. So specifically, that meeting that you'll have with your summer advisor is intended to help you strategize for self-registration, which takes place beginning on August 9th at 9 a.m. So be there and be ready. During that self-registration process, you have the chance to add the remaining units to your schedule, as well as to make any changes to the courses for which you've been pre-registered. It's also an opportunity to enroll in the required Well 100 course that I mentioned, that required first year wellness requirement. So If you need a refresher or if you want some additional preparation for self-registration, we will be holding another webinar August 1st with the registrar to help you prepare for that process. So now that we've walked through the summer registration timeline, let's dive into strategy. So we're going to begin with building your FYS plan or first year seminar plan. At many universities, the first year seminar, or FYS as we call it, is known as the freshman writing requirement or Great Books course. So we take a different approach at the University of Richmond, where our first year seminars are all reading and writing intensive. So please take that into account when you're building your schedule for the fall, but they're topical and cut across the disciplines. So you can take an FYS called Dining Out. You can take one called Cops, Crime, and Popular Culture. You can take one called Space, Time, and Relativity. So as you've likely gathered, our FYS classes vary pretty widely in terms of content. That said, they do share a common set of goals, namely to help students build skills as communicators and to build skills in information literacy and the research process. The assignments will differ across the courses, but again, they all are united by the same overarching goals. And so as the director of FYS, I will strongly encourage you to create your FYS plan comprised of courses that are of topical interest to you. Because most FYS courses don't count toward a major or minor, and no FYS courses will complete or fulfill a field of study general education requirement, it's really in your best interest to select courses that are interesting to you. So that said, we're going to dive into building an FYS plan, or at least part of one, given the interest of time. So when building your FYS plan, you'll note that in doing so in Banner, we're going to be looking for 20 FYS courses to list on that plan. And so now we're going into BannerWeb, going into registration, student registration, and plan ahead. So you'll begin by selecting your term, which is fall 2023, and creating a new plan. So given we're going to begin with the FYS plan, we're going to start with first year seminar in the subject field. So because all FYS courses have the same course number, which is FYS 100, we should view sections. And so here you'll see there are close to 60 individual sections of first year seminar with different names. So before we start looking at classes specifically, we just want to get a sense of the landscape here. So what is it that we're actually looking at? So on the far left, the title, you'll see the title of courses vertically. Next to it, you'll see the course number and course code. So again, all FYSs are FYS 100. You'll see the CRN in one column. The CRN refers to the course registration number, and that's the 5-digit number that corresponds to that particular section. You'll also see, in most cases, when you are viewing a section, the name of a course instructor. You'll also see the course meeting times, both days and times. And then continuing to the right of the screen, you'll see under status, the number of seats in the course. I will say right now, what you're seeing is a course restriction, but please know that first FYS classes are all capped at 16. So no first year seminar will have more than 16 students in a class. But additionally, right now, you'll see it says 8 of 8 seats. So these are restrictions that are currently placed on first year seminar courses so that non-first year students don't register. These will be lifted during the pre-registration process so that first year students can register. And then finally, moving to the right, we see under attribute, we see some examples, as we see right here, where a course does count toward a major or minor, in this case, RHCS elective, stands for Rhetoric and Communication Studies elective. And if we scroll down, we'll also see on the last row an Endeavor course, so Salsa meets Jazz. So that said, we're going to begin by building a plan and listing and adding the courses that we see listed here. So just going down the line. All right, and so we're gonna, once you have the courses that you would like to add to your plan, you save the plan and you label the plan FYS plan. Please be sure to name this correctly so that FYS is in the designated title. This is incredibly important as titles cannot be changed once they are created. So when creating a plan for the first time, make sure your plan is labeled correctly. So now that we've created a plan with some sample courses, again, you would create a plan with 20 first-year seminars on it. But what this provides you with is kind of a visual of when the courses meet, and again, a listing of each of the sections. You can note that there are, in some cases, multiple sections of the same course being offered. And in this case, we see 2 sections of the Rhetorical Lives of Maps. If you would like to add both sections of the same course, you're certainly more than welcome to do that. It's certainly also not a requirement. So that's up to you. So once you've created your plan, the next step is to rank your preferences in terms of course selection. So to do this, you will click on the sticky note right in that note column, and then add the digit corresponding to your preference, your rank. So please remember that you must only include digits in these boxes, no special characters, no notes to yourself, or anything like that, just simply 1 through 20. That said, if you get to a point where you feel like you aren't able to distinguish between, say, 14 and 16 on your list, we really just recommend that you rank, if you feel strongly, the first 10 of your selections. But you are certainly welcome to rank all 20, should you have that rank order. So now once you've completed your ranking, we encourage you to go back to select a plan, just so you're able to see the plan that you've created. You can see here in the lower right-hand corner where it says records, the number of classes that we've added. So we've added 7 here. And again, when you create your plan, you'll create 20, you'll add 20, but this just gives you a visual of what you've created. Now that the FYS plan is complete, we're going to move on. However, before attempting to tackle plan 2, what we're going to do is start to think about some other things to consider. We strongly recommend that you check out newspiders.richmond.edu, which has lots of great information and also some additional detail that'll help you answer the questions that we've listed here below. So questions that you'll need to ask yourself: do you have AP or IB credit? Will I need to take a language placement exam? And do I have an intended major? Because we also have linked from the New Spiders page, a website, a page that also gives you some courses recommended as a gateway to a major or minor. I'll also just note that we'll be, again, providing those links at the very end of the webinar. But finally, if you're not sure where to begin selecting courses, also don't worry. We have a list of recommended courses that's been created for first-year students by the registrar. And so that's where we're going to head next, is to take a look at this list of recommended courses. Okay, so as you can see, it's a pretty long list. So we would encourage you to spend some time reviewing it. It includes courses from across departments and across disciplines. It includes the course department, the course name, and then also, as you can see in columns E and F, detail regarding which field of study, general education requirement the course would fulfill. So for instance, in the art history course, you see historical studies at survey 1, prehistory to middle ages, historical studies being fulfilled, and so forth. But we're just gonna keep scrolling through so you can see, again, the range of courses that are being offered, right, from English, environmental studies, all of the first year seminars, of course, history, music. And so just continuing on, I'm gonna say, let's take a pause on political science, for instance. This will be useful as we begin to develop our plan 2. So say I'm interested in potentially majoring in political science, and I wanna know what courses might be appropriate for a first-year student. Here we have listed 4 political science courses: Intro to American Government, Intro to Comparative Politics, Intro to International Relations, and Introduction to Public Policy. And as you'll see, 3 of those 4 courses, the latter 3, fulfill a social analysis, field of study, social analysis, general education requirement. If I did ultimately decide to pursue a major in political science, it looks like I would be fulfilling that requirement multiple times, and that often happens. But you'll see here, selecting any one of those courses would fulfill that general education requirement. So now that we've taken a look at just some examples from this very long list, we're going to go back to Banner and build a plan 2. So returning back to that screen, we're going to create a new plan. And so again, since we've just taken a look at some of those first-year appropriate courses, I'm interested in political science, so let's try a political science course and see what's available. So as I mentioned, Intro to American Government was one of the recommended courses. So what we need to do is ensure that we view sections so we can ensure that the particular sections are included on the preference plan. So taking a look at what's available here, we see 4 sections, and I'm taking a look at the course times. And so as I build my plan, say, I really don't want to have noon classes because I'd like to keep that time for my lunch. So given that, we're going to add 2 of those 4 sections. And save. And so now, again, we're going to name this our plan 2. All right. So now that we have 2 courses on, we're going to keep going. Like I mentioned, political science, we're going to, let's add some Intro to Comparative Politics. So we'll view those sections and see what's available. Okay. And you can see here again that social analysis attribute, as well as some other attributes as well for concentrations. So we're adding more courses to my list. Great. Okay, and then we're going to go back, and now we're going to add some more political science. How about Intro to International Relations? Let's view that section. Okay, so we'll try that. So I'm still keeping to my noon time block free. And I'll go with public policy as well. So political science 260. I'll add the 9 a.m. I'll skip that noon. Okay, great. So I've added some courses to this plan, but to reach my 20, I'm also thinking about some other courses that may be of interest to me. So say I'm interested in possibly fulfilling my Com2 second language requirement, and I've taken French. So we're going to search for some sections of French 221, which in this scenario, I've taken French for 4 years, but never taken the AP exam. We do have a French language placement exam. And so given scores on that, I will place into 221, so our intensive intermediate. So we're going to view sections on that course as well. And taking a look at the times, so this looks like this will work. So we'll try, yeah, these first few. I don't see any noon times. Okay, we're going to skip the last two. Great. Okay. And so then we'll go back and maybe search for one more class to add. And so I've always been interested in music, so we'll see if there are any music classes that may be available. All right, so we see a lot of music classes here, just scrolling down. Oh, popular music of the 70s and 80s. So we'll start there. Okay, so this course, looks like it's full. But when you see that annotation, it's always important to click on the course title. And then clicking on the course description, which can give you some more information. So right now you see the course description, but then that text that's highlighted, which signals that there are going to be additional seats that will be opened for first-year students. So while the course is showing full currently, 5 more seats will be available for first-year students come registration time. So I'll add that course as well. All right, so now I've saved my plan 2. So now we have a lot of courses listed on here, and I'm going to do some ranking. Even though I've mentioned that I'm interested in political science, if I am interested in completing that COM2 language requirement, we would strongly recommend that you rank order those courses first. Just because our intensive language courses meet numerous times a week, as you'll see, and they're worth 2 units. And so building those into your schedule early on is perhaps preferable than trying to rebuild a schedule later, just because, as you can see, there are lots of meeting times here. So I may begin by ranking my French classes first, and then maybe going with American government, and then comparative government. Okay. So again, you don't have to rank all 20, but at least 10. Okay, so now we've completed that plan. We're going to go back and take a look at everything in the section. So now you can see we've created 2 plans, our FYS plan and our plan 2. The last thing that you need to do before the process is truly complete is to ensure that your plan 2 is made your preferred plan. So you can see make preferred, and currently the FYS plan is listed as preferred. So you just want to make sure that that gets swapped. Just so you know, when creating plans, the first plan that you make will always be listed as the preferred plan by default. So you will have to go in and make plan 2 your preferred plan. And once that's done, you should be able to see the listing of all the courses that you've added. And again, in the far right, the note that you've included as well. All right, so now we've made 2 plans. And so with that, we want to go back and just offer some final tips for you. So first and foremost, know which plans to make, or plan if need be, and make it or them by June 30th. And so again, if you can't make your plan or plans due to travel or other issues, please reach out to us. The second tip is to ensure that you rank your class preferences with digits only. As you mentioned, no letters, only numbers, no notes, only numbers. The third is just to make sure that the section or each section that you include on your plan is in fact being offered this fall. So make sure to look for that CRN or course registration number and a course meeting time. So that'll ensure that you'll know that the course is being offered in fact this fall. Fourth tip is just a reminder not to worry, that nothing is truly etched in stone. You can, in fact, make changes after you submit your plans. And so when self-registration opens in August 9th, you'll have that opportunity to make adjustments to your schedule. The one caveat I will make is that FYS sections are more difficult often to change later, just because enrollments for first year, because the courses are capped at 16, and also because there tends not to be a lot of movement. So finally, if you have a question, don't hesitate. Please ask your peer advisor, again, who should be reaching out to you this week, or reach out to us with through our advising inbox at advising@richmond.edu, or our personal emails that are listed here on the last slide. So again, thank you. Before we jump into the Q&A, wanting to give you that list of links that have been referenced throughout the session today. I am putting them in the chat right now. So you should have access to the link to the first year seminars, also available course by course in Bannerweb, New Spiders, again, a wealth of information, policies on AP or IB credit, our language requirement, and then recommended courses for fall 2023. So a link to that spreadsheet that we worked with. And then also from the page that's linked here on the right-hand side, you'll be brought to the page with courses for intended majors.
Thank you, Dr. M. We've got some good questions, so I thought maybe we could jump into those. Ella Brooke is asking, if I'm in a non-FYS endeavor, I only have to make the FYS plan. Is that correct? Yes. Do the classes in Endeavor potentially prevent me from registering for other first-year classes that are not FYS? I don't know that I understand. Go ahead, Dr. M.
I think if I am understanding the question correctly, I think just in terms of the course meeting times. So you'll be pre-registered for your Endeavor courses or course, depending. And then if you are making an FYS plan, you won't be pre-registered for an FYS course that would conflict with your Endeavor course. And so once you would have those courses in registration, that would shape how you ultimately prepared and strategized for self-registration in August.
Okay. Peter, you asked a good question about placement exams. Those are done online for the most part. So you can visit globalstudio.richmond.edu and find the link to request a placement exam. You should be able to do that from home. All right. You can take this next one, Dr. M. Ethan would like to know, when I'm browsing the classes for my plan, the times and days are not listed. How can I fix that?
That's a great question. So it is possible that what you're looking at is the entire course catalog and not the courses that are being offered in that particular semester. So if you're not seeing a CRN and not seeing a time, you're likely seeing courses or a course or courses that aren't being offered in a given semester, but are part of the general course catalog. So it's nothing you've done. You're just looking at the broader course catalog.
So long, Ethan, as long as you're clicking that view sections. But if you click on view sections and it's a blank page, then yes, it's not being offered. What other questions do you guys have? Hey, Isabel, if we need help with planning, can we reach out to your advisors for help? You're going to first reach out to your peer advisor for help during this pre-registration phase. Your summer advisor, you won't know who that person is until it's just about time to think about self-registration and finishing your schedule for the fall. So your peer advisor is your best point of contact at this point, and you should be hearing from them on or shortly after the 15th, so this week. All right, Dr. M, you can take Michelle's question about, is there a preference for people who pre-register first? And what if there aren't enough spots for a certain course?
Okay, this is a great set of questions. So first, if you have a priority registration, so are an athlete, an NCAA athlete, or a Richmond Bonner Scholar or Oliver Hill Scholar, you would be pre-registered for your full course load, so a 4 to 4.5 units. And that would be done by that July 24th date. So you would get priority registration. But in terms of preference for people who register first, that's how the priority registration process works. So it's the courses that you would be able to enroll in earlier. If there aren't enough spots for a certain course, I'll say it kind of depends on the specific course that you're looking for. There are some courses that will have wait lists if there are no seats available. Wait lists are administered in different ways depending on the department. Some will have specific instructions in Bannerweb. So we would strongly encourage you to look at the information when you link on a course title. That should give you some more additional information. In some cases, as we mentioned, spots will open up for first-year students later, and they just are released a little bit later. So there are a few different ways in which that registration process can take place. Waitlists for courses with available waitlists will open on August 9th with self-registration. So you won't be able to add yourself to a waitlist for a course that's currently full until August 9th, at least.
Thank you. I think I can answer Cam and Marcy's question in one. Cam would like to know where on the website they can find all courses required for any major. You can find that on New Spiders in academic planning. About midway down the page, you will see recommended courses for major/minor. So check that out. That will redirect you to another page. But then you'll see that you can choose any major and kind of get some guidance on what those first entry courses are like. And then Marcy, you can find, if you don't have time to take the placement exam, also on New Spiders in academic planning, planning your schedule, there is a link or a button to take you to the second language page. And most languages have done a really good job of outlining, if you've taken 2 years of this, then you should do that. Or if you have this much experience in this language, then you should do that. So there are guides out there. I can tell you as a general rule, if you are starting a brand new language, you're going to look for either a 101 section or a 121 section of a language. If you have some experience, that's kind of where the placement exam really comes in handy.
And I'll jump in and grab Emily's question. about what if a course in pre-registration currently says it's full? Does that mean I cannot take the class? So again, this is a bit of a tricky one since it will depend on the specific course that you're looking at. Some courses are currently full and don't have additional seats available. It depends on the level of the course. It depends on the department's waitlist policy. If a course is currently full and does not specify in Bannerweb that additional seats will be released for first-year students, it does mean that you won't be able to immediately register for the course. Again, if there are wait lists available, that's something to inquire into. Also to learn if there are overrides. Again, it will kind of depend on, it'll be a case-by-case basis.
Still have some time for more questions. I don't see any more, Dr. M.
Okay. Well, as we shared, if questions do surface after we sign off today, please don't hesitate to reach out again or speak with your peer advisor. They're great resources and are incredibly helpful. So please, we know that they're eager to hear from you as well. So once you connect, you have another point of contact at the university who can address and speak to some of your questions, as well as us, now that you know who we are and that we're here to help you and work with you as well. All right, so thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.